Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2020. Lance Brock here on this Tuesday morning episode of Good Morning, Wrestling Fans. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday morning so far, wherever you are, wherever you may be listening to 360 Wrestling podcast right now, whichever podcast app or website you are listening on. And just as I am recording the podcast right now, I got a notification from my Ringside News app on my phone, and it can't read it right now, but it says John Cena reveals heel turn plans for a feud against The Rock. Not sure if that is talking about their first WrestleMania match or their second one, but that definitely would have been interesting at the time. I know there was talk about it at the time, possibly turning Cena heel, have him go against The Rock and have The Rock as the baby face. Definitely would have been interesting. And now, since unfortunately I did not do a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night, just gonna go over real quick here this morning over some of the things that took place on Raw last night as we get closer to WrestleMania 40. Gunther and Dominic Mysterio. Gunther getting the win, defeating Dominic, and later on Gunther was confronted. Sorry, I was trying to think of the word. Was confronted by Chad Gable, and he brought up their feud from last year and mentioned what Gunther making his daughter cry when he defeated Chad Gable in that IC title match on Raw, which was a very good match. But the only thing is, if you wanted Chad Gable to be the challenger for Gunther's Intercontinental Championship for WrestleMania, since they had that big match on Raw, he's kind of cooled down a bit. You need to give him a little more sizzle if you want to heat him up for him to be a worthy number one contender again. But could Chad Gable and Gunther have a really good WrestleMania match? Sure, but the question is, how interesting would the feud be building up for it? And nothing against Chad Gable, or anybody for that matter, but I see Gunther hanging on to the title after WrestleMania. I just think WWE has plans for him for holding on to that IC title for quite a long time. Women's tag team action, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Katana Jansen, Kaden Carter, and also Nia Jax defeating Becky Lynch via disqualification. Andrade El Idolo defeats Apollo Crews, who we haven't seen on TV in forever. I don't even remember how long exactly it's been since we've seen Apollo on TV. I want to say it was maybe NXT the last time we saw him. I'm not sure, but I know I said Andrade El Idolo. I know he's not going by that since after returning to WWE, but that is now the name of his move now. Apparently El Idolo. So now, since he's just going as Andrade, since he's returned to WWE, he's going to call his move El Idolo now. And the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Senior Money in the Bank Damian Priest defeat Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. But the two versions of the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and also Rhea Ripley, they're almost pretty much baby faces. They come out, they get cheers, but Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, comes out and gets so much heel heat that when he tries to cut a promo, you can barely even hear him over the boos, which is fine for Dominic Mysterio, because he is such a good heel right now that people just can't stand him. They hate him. They don't even want to hear him say anything. And like I said, it is the good kind of heat, not the bad go away heat. And Sami Zayn defeated Ivar, and both superstars will be part of the gauntlet match next week on Raw, I believe, to earn a title shot at the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40. So Sami Zayn still in there trying to get a match on the WrestleMania 40 card. And Drew McIntyre defeating Jey Uso in the main event of Raw. So that was last night's WWE Monday Night Raw. I just wanted to go over it real quick, since unfortunately I did not have a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night. But speaking of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, you can still go back and listen and download Sunday's episode talking about AEW Revolution, Sting's final pro wrestling match that took place Sunday night on pay-per-view. That's available either on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts at. So in case you missed that episode, maybe you can go back, check it out, either listen or just download it and then listen to it at a later time. Tonight, we have NXT as they get ready for Battleground, the PLE this Sunday. And also tonight is the return of Dark Side of the Ring on Vice. Tonight's episode featuring Earthquake John Tenta should be a pretty good episode, but I really don't see it being one of the, I guess you could say, darkest episodes of Dark Side of the Ring. He wasn't really that much of, like, I would say, a controversial character in pro wrestling, but I think it still could be a pretty good episode. Before I go, just one thing I remembered just now. Yesterday it was announced by WWE the first name going into the 2024 class of the WWE Hall of Fame is none other than the Advocate, the Wise Man, Paul Heyman. No surprise though, Philadelphia, the land of the extreme, the birth of ECW. So that's really no surprise at all. And I've been wondering who is going to induct him. I'm pretty sure it won't be Brock Lesnar. Wouldn't be surprised if it's possibly Roman Reigns or maybe even Asuka and Sika. I know he was close with them. Or maybe somebody from ECW, who knows. And that is all for this Tuesday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Thank you for listening, everyone, whether you listen or if you download or listen later. And tonight, who knows, maybe, I probably even shouldn't say because there's a chance I might not, but maybe a new episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Who knows? Like I said, definitely not promising it, but I will be back tomorrow for the Wednesday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans to talk about tomorrow night's episode of AEW Dynamite with all the fallout from the Revolution pay-per-view. Once again, thank you for listening. Hope everyone has a great Wednesday. Hope everyone enjoys NXT and Dark Side of the Ring tonight. Until I talk to you tomorrow morning, have a great pro wrestling day.